divers. I hope you're having a fantastic time. This is a little bit of a different episode of the Dive Into Reiki podcast. I had planned to have a little bit of a longer interview with my Seiza sensei, Reverend Miki Nakura. Seiza is a meditation that is non-denominational in Japan, in Buddhism, and it's basically really about strengthening that core and that energetic hara belly center so that we're calmer and more peaceful individual. As my sensei says, we become people of hara, right? That are peace-minded and not angry. But his English was a little bit like he didn't feel as comfortable. Also, he prefers to demonstrate what Seiza is instead of talking. So I have actually a great video about what Seiza is and a demonstration from Sensei, which I'm linking here in the notes. So you can access the whole, I think it's a 20-something minutes video in which he demonstrates Seiza, and then he talks about the link between, well, I talked to him about the link between the second symbol and Amida Buddha, and that has a lot to do with his branch of Buddhism that he practices, Shin-Buddhism. So he goes and explains to us what Amida and Amida Buddha stands for, and that you're going to see or hear depending on which medium you're consuming this podcast towards the end. It should be a few minutes, and it's really, really quite an interesting concept. And I love when we get these nuggets about, wow, that was the inspiration for the symbol, the heavenly energy, the infinite light. It's nice to see where things come from. We don't necessarily need it for a practice or to have a better practice, but it's kind of nice to know, okay, this stands for this, right? And this is what we are practicing with when we're practicing with that symbol. And also understanding, like, even though we have a lot of New Age influences, we can also see still today in any lineage those roots from Buddhism and traditional Japanese spiritual practices. So that be towards the end. I do have a couple of wonderful practitioners lined up for interviews. But I think, it's the summer, they're taking some time off. And most people are actually taking some time off, which I think is quite smart. If you live in the Northern Hemisphere and having this summer vacation, enjoying the warm weather. In the case of New York, it's very short-lived. So I'm also trying to go to the park and the beach as much as I can. I know for most people, it's weird to hear that New York is actually sort of a beach river town during the summer. But I did want to bring a topic that has been a subject of reflection to me lately. And I love how everything we do in Reiki, or sometimes when your students bring us questions, really can be a really interesting topic for reflection. And I also believe that practice really advances our understanding of Reiki, but sometimes taking the time to reflect about certain concepts really help us deepen our understanding. And the topic today is having a successful practice. And I think I've heard that 300 times. I don't know why it never awoke my mind, but I had this lovely student, very talented, amazing human being. And we were talking about success, and there is this volunteering going on, and this, like, the volunteers may have like completely booked, other volunteers less booked. So, and that desire to have a successful practice. And it hit me a little bit. First of all, I push myself too hard. I'm a little of a type A. And I've been trying to shift to enjoying more the journey than achieving what we will judge as success. Success is very, very subjective as well. But one thing that struck me for the first time, and I wanted to share here, is that success for me also feels like I achieved something, I arrived something, I have a successful practice. And for me, that was the part, like, well, should we use the word or not? And again, or if we use it, how we're using it. For me, in this moment in my practice and age, and as when I probably gonna be careful in the way I use it from now on, because what I felt that day, and again, this is very personal, I think we all have takes on this and they're all valid, there's no right and wrong. But for me, almost like if I achieve success, I achieve something, I am doing something versus allowing my practice to just flow and evolve. And again, that non-doing that is very core to Reiki, but also that means I've arrived somewhere. And I've been practicing Reiki I started in 2006. The first 3, 4 years, I probably wasn't as consistent as I am today, but for quite a few years. And the one thing I'm learning is every time I think, oh, I discovered something new, I'm in a new place, that place will shift and shift and shift. You can always keep on going deeper. Your perception of the practices changes as you practice. And I don't think there is right and wrong, but it's an ever evolving, a very fluid understanding of the practice with depths that seem to never end. And I hope they never end. So I want to be careful with myself about saying my practice is successful, because I don't want to ever feel like I arrived somewhere. And sometimes it feels like I arrived because I'm literally stuck in the same understanding for months. Sometimes I plateau and I have to say, I get like, oh my God, this practice is taking me nowhere. I get frustrated, and then suddenly something shifts and I go deeper. And the understanding of simple practices, hands-on healing, my concept of what hands-on healing was in 2006 with my first class to what it is today has changed. It still incorporates a lot of the first day, but it has many more facets. It's like a diamond. And I also see other people having different points of view on hands-on healing. So I don't ever want to feel I do successful hands-on healing. I always have now this desire, like, what is next? What could be next? Or perhaps this is it. Can I settle in it? But in my case, as a type A, I also have to mention I really like to push myself a little bit too much. Sometimes as a type A, success is something that feels like I've arrived. So I've been reconsidering how we talk about that. And the other thing is, I also think we have to divide what is my personal practice from my own healing and growth, and what a successful practice slash business is. And I think also sometimes we feel I'm not a successful Reiki practitioner because I try to do a professional business or teach classes and not enough people sign up, or no one signs up. I've done Reiki circles, nobody shows up, or I've tried and I cannot really make a living from Reiki. I think the qualities that really take you to a successful business go more than just your practice. It has a lot to do with skills as well as table manners and communication, selling, marketing, that are very valid, but that may take you to a successful business, right? Just having a very deep practice may not be everything you need. And we should not ever doubt our practice because we may not have like perhaps as many clients, or we desire not to go professional. I think sometimes even on social media, we compare, like followers and clicks and interaction and engagement. I'm like, wow, I'm not successful. I think each of those occasions are actually a great way to grow. What does this person on Instagram make them have more followers or get such a rate of engagement? I also will invite you to do that with some discernment. I've been trying to interview some of those people on TikTok who I think they have a mission, who do all the moving with the nails and the clicking and the ASMR with Reiki practice, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers, and they're probably making a living based on sponsorships. And they may have a very deep practice, but most of them are Reiki too, and they may not have such a transformative, successful practice, right? We cannot just judge them. And they may have like the most amazing practice. I'm not saying the opposite, but how much do they understand the system of Reiki, at least from a traditional Japanese point of view, could be like, well, do they? Maybe they don't. They don't. I cannot judge them because they have hundreds of thousands, right? They do have beautiful nails and they're really good at moving and doing something that is very appealing. And I personally think also is very useful. A lot of people have anxiety. They go on TikTok and these are Reiki videos with nails and with pullings and music. I really help them relax and feel like something happened and have a positive shift. So I actually think there is space for all of us doing different things. But the fact that I have 3,200 followers and I have hundreds of thousands, it should never make me doubt about my own practice. What should make me doubt if my practice is quote unquote successful, I will call it more probably even effective sounds weird, but like transformative, enriching, or is it deepening? Am I a more compassionate? I am a little bit happier than I was before. Do I get angry? Do I get worried? Do I still experience some shifts on the way I see life, right? Are my relationships less toxic, more positive? Do I have healthier boundaries? Can I be at work and still be centered? So many, many things. Or again, if I'm trying to take and build a Reiki business and perhaps it's not going well, can I grow from it? Can I learn the lessons? Can I go sit, rest, and just have a meditation? Do I really want to do this? Is this for me? And if it is, do I need to learn some skills, right? Like, and just because I always love to share these things, your cities, if you live in the US, have a lot of supports with free marketing classes, free, they even teach you how to use like software that can keep track of money. So there are resources out there. So taking that space for reflection. I think if we did something and reflected and grew from it, and so clearly what we like and didn't like, I actually think that as a success, not a failure. I do think if we're having a Reiki business that is very successful, but is not tied with a very daily, deep personal practice, it may be a successful living. It may not necessarily be a successful Reiki practice, even if we're helping a lot of people, right? At the end, we are at the center of our practice and our life should be better. With everything that happens in the world, we also have to think what that better is. Perhaps making it through a day and doing the three things you need to do that day because you're overwhelmed with the news, with perhaps something you're going through life, that is success. So if you like the term success is something that really energizes you and inspires you to move forward, also how can you temper it with compassion and also be fluid in what success is and not having you drive forward and just like, I need to do this, yes or not, right? From a personal point of view, I remember when I was trying to do a Reiki business the traditional way, Reiki session classes, and really pushing and pushing, it was going nowhere. And there was a reason for that. I really love writing books about Reiki, doing podcasts about Reiki, creating contents about Reiki, going deeper into my practice. And I do sessions and I teach classes, but it's a different angle. I love, sharing everything I learn in my journey with other people. It makes sense. I'm a writer, been my writer for profession for the last more years than I want to accept. But since I'm 22 years old, that's what I've been doing with my life. So it makes a lot of sense that it compenetrates so well. And since I kind of like accepted that apparent lack of success in what was a traditional Reiki business role, my practice has brought me a lot of joy. It's very enriching and it's really brought many, many gifts into my life. So I just want you to reflect, what is success for you? Is the idea of success getting in the way or energizing you? Both are totally possible. But also check very simple ways. Am I feeling good about my practice? Am I less worried? Am I more angry? And perhaps also like, I'm aware that I'm more angry and I'm having difficult coping with the news and everything, but that's okay because I'm aware of it. That for me is also a big win. And am I being there for others? Am I like literally like offering the space to others from a place of compassion, gratitude, and light? And I think if we're not, like, if perhaps we don't meet those with like a check mark, that is okay too. That just being aware that perhaps we're going through a moment that we're not completely at once or flowing with the practice, but we're struggling a little bit, we're frustrated, that is also a win. I just think it's kind of interesting to take a word that we say as so like, oh yeah, they're successful, or oh, I want a successful practice. And it can be such an interesting way of actually reflecting on our practice and also clarifying where we're going. In my case, I stopped wasting a lot of energy on things that really didn't bring me joy. I'm gonna go a little bit Marie Kondo on you and check everything in your practice. Is it bringing me joy, right? And obviously, if you have a Reiki practice that you're making a living of, also be, compassionate, because obviously, probably the administrative part is not going to bring you joy, or perhaps yes, I do love to do time sheets and stuff like that, and numbers in my case. Perhaps not every session will bring you joy. Perhaps some days you're tired, but just as an overall, right? Just keeping that in mind. And always remember, we can shift, we can move forward, we can go backwards, we can go sideways. There is no right or wrong way to live our journey, our Reiki journey, as long as there is honesty, there is presence, and there is a commitment to really follow a little bit the guidelines of the precepts and and to rekindle that inner light and share the light with others, but also to receive openly. That's the last thing I will add. Sometimes we see success as just giving, offering, developing business. I think one thing that has brought me a lot of gratitude and joy in the last times, I will say, is learning to receive more wholeheartedly. And that has been a beautiful gift. So without further ado, I'm gonna add the interview with Reverend Nakura. Now, I just want to remind you before we hear him talk about Amida Buddha, about the Patreon. You support the podcast with the Patreon. The podcast is not very expensive, but it does take some money to edit, to host, and all of those things. And your contribution, even if it's at the $3 level, actually helps a lot. You get a preview of the podcast episodes before anyone else. And if you also are interested in continuing your practice, if you had a few trainings, the Patreon also offers you classes. You can subscribe monthly. But I think if you're already a Patreon subscriber, also I want to let you know that it's interesting how to use it better. There are over 250 classes recorded. So there is a little bit of a search bar, and you can really type whatever you want there, hands-on healing, whatever technique you want, it will probably pop up. It is a lot of Japanese techniques, so there is not a lot about chakras or that kind of crystal grid, more Western Reiki. If you're interested in a subject, you haven't been able to find it through the search bar, just send me a message. I'm happy to send you links to the classes or incorporate them in future classes. But literally, you can get at the Sweet Diver level and have access to over 250 videos, or at the Deep Diver, you can also participate in the healing exchanges that we do every month. And then I think it's over 300 classes that you will have access to from the past. And obviously, you also have 3 classes live every month, and that exclusive access to the interviews. So just that. Now I'll leave you with Reverend Nakura. Thank you so much, Miki-san, for saying yes to be on the podcast.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me to this
podcast. And Miki-san has been teaching me Seiza meditation. He will tell us a little bit everything about Seiza and also his background, and also some of the deities and some of the elements that are very important to Reiki that we don't get a lot of familiarity in training, and some of the concepts like no measure, no judgment, and infinite light. So,
in short, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of doing Seiza? To become a man of hara, to become a person of hara. Hara, this is a Japanese word, and hara means belly, abdomen. Therefore, when breathing out, at the same time, please put your all energy in the lower belly, hara. Lower hara, not upper belly. Lower belly. Concretely speaking, in Japanese, tanden. Tanden is the 2 inches below the navel. This one spot, tanden. You can find out where the tanden is. When you are laughing, ha 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 ha, naturally this tanden becomes firm, very firm. Or please say, hai, hai. When say hai or ha ha ha, when we are laughing, naturally, kono tanden is become very firm. Therefore, to laughing is very important. Naturally, when we are laughing, tanden is becoming firm. That is to say, when our hara lower belly is filled with energy, on the contrary, our brain is become empty. This is a realization of no stress, no worry, no anxiety. On the contrary, when my energy is filled with, my energy is filling in the head, this is a stressful time. Dualistically, I am one of the human beings. Therefore, when my brain is filled with energy, very dualistically, I was so stressed. But when my energy resides here, lower belly, this is totally peaceful time. I can accept this present moment as it is.
That's so important. Yeah.
So the purpose is we can live this present moment as it is. This is the statue of Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha ですね。Amida Buddha, I am a Seiza practitioner, Seiza follower, and also I'm a Jodo-Shinshu follower. I'm a minister of Higashi Hongan-ji temple. And the basic teaching of Pure Land Buddhism is awakening to the Amida's boundless love, limitless love, and wisdom. This is a statue of Amida. The true Amida has no form, no color. What is the true meaning of Amida? Amida came from Sanskrit, ancient Indian words, Sanskrit. Amida, original Sanskrit of Amida is Amita. Amita. And Amita, A-M-I-T-A, Amita. A means negation. A means none or no. That is to say, A means negation in Sanskrit. And Mita, M-I-T-A, Mita is the trace back of the English meter, M-E-T-E-R, meter. This is the same. To trace back of the true meaning of meter, M-E-T-E-R, is the same language. Meter means meter, M-I-T-A, meter. That is to say, Amita means no meter, no measure. No measure, no meter. That is to say, immeasurable, or infinite. This is the true meaning of Amita. Therefore, in the Pure Land Buddhism, we say Nam Amitabha Buddha. That meaning is Nam means oh yes. Nam means oh yes, that's right. Oh yes, this Miki Nakura is a manifestation of the limitless, boundless working of the universe. This Miki Nakura, this head, this body, this mind, this total Miki Nakura is the manifestation of Amita.
So Amida Buddha is linked to the second symbol of Reiki, so people know, which is called Seiheki in Japanese. So he called it Seiheki and did a drawing that was very similar to the Amida seed syllable, so it's very linked to that. And Seiheki means infinite light, heavenly energy.
I see.
So that's why I'm very interested in you sharing this about Amida Buddha.
I see.
So there is a lot of Buddhist inspiration in Reiki, at least in the traditional original Reiki.
I see.
Yeah.
I do know that. Thank you very much.
So he simplified the symbols, a lot of them. One is called Honshase Shonen, which is my mind is correct thought, which is all about we are interconnected. There is no separation, no duality.
I see.
So that's when you say when we have the energy in the head, there is duality. When we have the energy in the hara, no duality, stillness. in a way, Seiza and Reiki point towards the same.
I see.
All towards the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
It's very interesting.
I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah,
really?
that's why. And for Reiki practitioners, I find that working with the hara helps you really, really have a still mind, do better session.
Mm-hmm.
So I invite people to try Seiza and and other Buddhist meditation to really, really complement their Reiki practice. For me, Seiza has been life-changing in Reiki, in life, work, martial arts. It's very grounding. So I really appreciate Miki-san to have shared all of these. Thank you so much, Miki-san.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for.
Thank you. And I will put a link, obviously, to Miki-san's email. He also teaches online versions of the meditation. And I also put some links, some Seiza information Miki-san has kindly shared with me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miki-san, so much.
Thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。
こちらこそ I'm very happy to be able to hear. ありがとう。Natalie, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.